Hello and welcome back to Bourbon Barrel Talk. I'm your host Scott Minton. Today we're back in the Brock Bourbon Bar and we're having a different conversation today. We're not reviewing anything per se. We're going to drink some things, and if somebody says, "Ooh, that's really good," we'll be like, "Oh, okay, cool, that's awesome." But it's more about just kind of like the evolution of bourbon, where we started our journey, where we're at now, and how we kind of got there. You know, and each one of us are going to talk a little bit about that piece of it. Does that make sense?
I'm seeing a lot of thick ladies on this table right now, Scott.
You do?
Yeah, some thick. What do you call it? Handles.
Handles.
Yeah.
The 175s.
Yeah.
So yeah, listen, this is a good place where people started. Like maybe you were in college and you were doing XYZ, and you guys were just getting the cheapest shit you could find to get as drunk as you possibly could.
I mean, I think you got to start us off, Scott. You're the host. Like, what was the turning point for you?
So I mean, I guess when I kind of quasi became a bourbon snob, right? Like, was in the Four Roses days. Like, Four Roses single barrel was fairly new to the market. I had the pleasure of meeting Al Young, which I think I've told this story a few times, back when I was at Mercy Academy helping out with their board of directors, and he would come do special pours or things like that for one of our charity events called Benefit on Broadway, that later moved to Fagenbush, which then it became known as Benefit Off Broadway. So they still kept the name Bob, but was able to kind of make some quasi switches. So for me, I think my love of like craft bourbon at the time, or not really even craft, Four Roses was one of the smaller big distilleries at that time, but kind of the appreciation of like something that wasn't always just 85 proof or 100 proof, standard bottle like what we have here in the handles, was kind of that realm, was Four Roses. Mm-hmm. I was able to learn why I should appreciate it versus like just drinking and being like, "Oh, that's pretty good." Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I don't know, Brian. What about you?
Dude, I'm struggling because all right.
Are you on the struggle bus?
No. All right, I love this because, all right. So one of the bottles that is out that is not a handle. We talked about a couple weeks ago. It's a 2015 double oaked Woodford Reserve.
Gotcha.
Before they had to remove it's technically not a single barrel. That's the first bottle where I spent more than $60. That's also the first bottle when I seen somebody pour that, like with, I think it was Sprite. I'm like, what the hell?
They poured Sprite on Woodford Double Oak.
Right. So a real estate attorney's wife, yes, she poured that on there.
That makes sense. Then all right, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, and I was like,
wait, what she poured on?
Woodford Double Oak.
Sprite, 7-Up, some sort of a lemon lime soda. Not pop. Well, there's pop too.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I about freaked out. Like that was like where I first got into this. And I'll say Woodford. I wonder what percentage of people that were like, where they had their aha moment, where it was a Woodford or it was a Makers.
I would say probably more people had the aha moment on Woodford because it became the first premium bottle, and I'm using that as in quotations. Yeah. That was
quotations as in like self-declared.
Correct. Yes. That hit the market, that was just the next notch up, right? Because it was right before Angel's Envy landed too, right? Angel's Envy hit maybe, about a year and a half later? 2 years later? It couldn't have been much longer.
It was after the fact. I remember that much, yeah.
And then that became the new, like, premium brand, right?
That was also the first finished whiskey that hit in mass quantities on the shelves.
Yeah. So I think that's a fair assessment.
Which 10 years ago, that was for Ashley's dad's 50th birthday. 10 years ago, we all took a big family group down to Woodford. That was the first distillery I had ever officially visited, and really got into bourbon because of that. So it's funny that that's kind of where we started out with. Yeah. Woodford was the one that started it all for me.
Yeah. Before Woodford, it was what, Labatt Graham, Grah.
Labatt Graham. Yeah, Labatt Graham.
Is that German?
I don't know. It probably, I mean, that would make sense, but I don't know.
Yeah, that was the first place that I went to where it was like layers and layers and layers of what they had to offer.
Yeah. I don't know. Nick, where'd you start, man?
So my misspent, uneducated youth started really with some recommendations at Keg Liquors. So really, I had started just dabbling in prior to getting into bourbon. I was really into beers. I was, craft beers, barrel-aged beers really got me going. I really enjoyed them. I had, Bourbon County was still so select that I could never get a hold of them, but the bourbon barrel aged beers were starting to really become more popular. Mid 2010s.
Hey, Nick, this is the first time that I've heard somebody that's got interested in whiskey because of barrel aged beers.
Yep.
I've never heard that before.
Yep. So went to Keg Liquors and looked around, and you know what? I found a Elijah Craig 18. I still remember it. I could get that for $60.
The fuck?
Yes. And I'm going to be honest. In my misspent youth, I did mix some of that with Coke. I'm not going to lie to you. But I eventually stopped adding the Coke to it and just enjoyed it from there. And that was actually a mainstay at our house for
Nick
quite a
was
while.
Bougie in his early days. $60 bottles.
Yeah, but what's fun is that
Fucking
so those that,
GTAing it off the fucking home plate, son.
lying.
so Michter's 18. It's always been between like 94 and 90.
Right.
It has always been a low proofer, high age whiskey.
Yep.
Yeah.
And one of our early Barbara, and that was also what Barbara started to try as well. And she was not quite on the bandwagon yet, but we eventually ended up trying some ryes, and she ended up enjoying it. One of the early or first distillery tours we went on was to Heaven Hill. It was back whenever they had the barrel at the visitor center. It was before the new visitor center. It was the old visitor
school,
centers.
Yep. And the barrel was divided into two for two different tasting rooms.
Yes. Yep.
Wow. I'm going way back.
Those are the good old days.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, back when I got that Heaven Hill Select stock.
Did
still have
things
that.
seem simpler back then? Like
This was all pre-fire stuff.
Yeah.
If you know what the pre-fire bottles were,
Yeah.
this is all pre-fire.
Yeah.
okay.
And so that is what was kind of my gateway. And that also started our distillery tours at that point in time.
Yeah.
For us. And so, Barbara was along for those at the very beginning. And eventually that segued into Starlight and a few of the other locations. So, yeah. Yeah, Barbara's glugging it up over here, pouring some Maker's Mark out of the fifth of
I
Maker's
heard the
Mark.
glug glug 3000.
Oh, hey, and if I may,
Yeah.
hey, so the glug glug sound, I think you started to appreciate that later
Yeah.
in the whiskey journey.
Yeah.
Because back then it was just a sound that I made. Now it's little close to the heart.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing was that whenever we went to
Sounds
Maker's
almost
Mark,
as good as the Gok Gok 3000.
Was
But
that
I actually love that whenever we went to go visit Maker's Mark, and we did that
Do
tour.
you hear that? Nick loves the Glock 3000.
Roadhead? Oh, we got the snort.
No, that's not my snort.
That's Barbara.
That's a Barbara.
But it was more of an appreciation of that. They pointed out that Maker's Mark wanted that glug sound whenever anybody poured
that
their
retro sound. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, that was my kind of entryway into really bourbon, and then that evolved into, and I'm not going to deny some FOMO whenever it came around, whenever the 2020, 2021, whenever they started the Starlight releases, whenever the stickers, were coming out,
Yep. Yep.
but I will say some of that 2016 distillate, both bourbon and ryes, were just banger from Starlight.
yeah.
And, I mean, that really got the hook, proverbial hook, from fishing on me, and that really started me.
Hook, line, sinker.
There we go.
Hey, Nick, so was that because what you're getting out of the bottle itself, or was that because you felt more of a part of a community?
I don't think I was really feeling a part of the community at the time. I'll be honest. I will say the first time that I really started feeling a part of the community was the first time that I met Scott. Whenever I beat him out on a bottle,
Oh.
Fuckers.
and whenever we started having our conversation, and then we had done our first podcast here, about that bottle and a couple others, was really whenever I started really seeing the community and understanding it and knowing what was evolving around it.
Wait, this is 2020, you said?
I think, Nick, that's about the time you guys came in. Was like,
Yeah.
what,
Yeah.
late 2020, early 2021?
21, yeah.
Oh, so this is when
COVID, yeah.
COVID was still just kind of coming out
Right.
of COVID. The fear of COVID was starting to subside.
Correct. Yeah.
Because Jared and Carl and myself met Scott in 2022, because our first episode of the Den of Thieves was shortly after we met him, and that was 4 years ago. I got a memory on Facebook from it. So we've been part of the podcast for 4 years now. Me being the shining one, because the others have kids and they have like things to do. But like,
I'm sorry.
Who'd have thought?
I show up. Right?
It's like Johnny's here.
Well,
Johnny,
because the thing is, I think we did like 1 or 2 podcasts here, over the course of like 6-7 months, and I think that was whenever then you guys jumped in, before that, and then I think then that all came together.
yeah.
After that,
I started commingling the family into one big conglomerate, I guess would be the best way of putting it.
But that is an interesting thing to think of and reflect on. Is like how much world events actually shapes like things that you wouldn't think related to those. Like the industry itself and like the podcast that we do that we're on right now, like is a response to what's going on in the external environment. So like we are living in the post-COVID world right now, and like that is if you look at that just as a bourbon journey, is like different from like during the pandemic and then pre-pandemic, and then you're looking at your mid-2000 and teens, where I feel like you had a lot of people first getting into bourbon, 10 years ago, and then you just I don't know at what point, but like could you lump everything prior to that in just like one big soup can in terms of like old juice? At what point can you say, oh, I associate this with an old juice kind of vibe? I don't know.
When you say old juice, do you mean like your Segway bottle, the bottle that kind of brought you in?
No, I'm like what they had for decades. Because like do you remember the episode where I brought in all those airplane bottles from like the 60s
So
and
Dusty's
70s?
is what he's
So
talking about.
Dusty's. It's like at what point can like you say that realm of whiskey and bourbon was set to this, and then it transitioned to the next thing? Was that in 9/11? Was that in the mid 2010s?
Okay,
I don't know.
I'll tackle this, and
Yeah.
Brian, you can jump in if you want.
I do.
So I think it's the evolution of drinking, right? Like we all have bought stuff, right? You've bought stuff off the shelf. You've had this, you've had that, and then like there's always going to be FOMO of like a single barrel or something gets released, you don't get one, those type of things, right? That's one thing. The other thing that you run into is the fact that what's the new thing, or what's the thing that like, dude, oh my God, have you ever like, and then like some dude had pulled out a bottle from 1993.
Like, have you tried this shit before?
Yes,
Oh my
exactly,
God,
right. Yeah. So it just, I think that's where things just kind of evolved as bourbon people who, and I'm going to call us bourbon snobs for that capacity, right?
Sure.
That like you just find something and you're like, oh my God, that's really good. And then somebody's like, oh dude, my grandpa's got this bottle. And then somebody's like, oh, my uncle doesn't drink, he's got 5 of these bottles. And then like before you know it, you're trying all these crazy old Dusties. And then you see people that were picking up decanters and this and that. So like it was just kind of the evolution at that point of like, and I would say probably that happened probably 2018, 2017 is when you started seeing a lot of that stuff happen.
It always existed, but it wasn't like in the mind's eye of like a majority of the consumers.
I think the Gen Xer bourbon drinkers were the ones that kind of like were like, dude, this stuff is crazy good. And then like they were like found shit in their dad's closet or in their bar.
Grandfathers.
Yeah, grandpa's.
Yeah, because I look at this table right now, and we've got a giant handle of Makers, Wild Turkey 101, Bullet, Old Foe 100, I think.
Right.
Buffalo.
But you could go buy all those today.
I never remember either of my grandfathers having anything special. It was just like the bare bones
right
stuff, but they loved it.
Right.
And they would always buy it.
And that's the way my dad was. My dad always had a bottle of 101 that sat in the top of the cabinet, and on the days he wanted to drink whiskey, that's what he drank, right?
You had no idea, like, so if you go back in time, what that whiskey was compared to what no criticism, like, to what 101 is in today's day and age.
Right.
Well,
we did it. We brought it here. Like, I literally, like, my dad stopped drinking whiskey probably in 1995, probably when I was in high school.
All right, so a year before Wild Turkey 101 was available in the States.
So, yeah, whatever. Wow. So there was literally, my dad had 2 boxes of Wild Turkey 101.
6 or 12, like, bottle boxes.
I don't remember, but they were from like 91, 92, something like that. So one of them was like the Austin Nichols, one was a regular one. It was right during the
Real good
transition,
stuff,
right?
yeah.
So anyway,
New
long
York.
story short, like I would have never thought to try that until 2015, 2016, whatever year it was that like that became kind of the thing. Like, oh, go chase a Dusty, go look what it looks and tastes like, right?
Like that was the fad at the
that
time.
that was kind of the next fad of that stage.
Hey, that was also the point in time where you could drive around Louisville into the less desirable places
Of-
that you
yes.
that you want to drive through. So Owen Powell,
Yeah.
he's one, and then
Yeah, they were going and picking up old Fitzes and other stuff that just nobody wanted at that time.
In the majority of the stuff that they found back then, they were all 375s.
Yeah.
The amount of stuff that Owen found just from going to the places that had bulletproof glass in the front,
Yeah.
where he was able to go back there and pick it up, insane.
Yep.
Insane.
So I did leave out something on the journey, and it kind of hit me as I was kind of thinking back on things. And one of the part of the journeys is my dad was he was in the insurance biz, local insurance, Farm Bureau, and during 80s, early the 80s, it was always kind of a thing to gift people whiskey or whatever that during that time period. And my parents were more beer drinkers than whiskey drinkers. They would might make a mixer every now and then, but they were more beer drinkers.
Hey,
And
Nick, so for the 80s, like what was a beer that they would drink?
Coors or Bud?
Wait, Banquet?
No,
Oh, so Coors Light or just like Coors?
Coors.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Coors.
I'm just trying to to paint like what the
The old tan can.
Yeah,
Dude, I mean, I love it. I wish, man, to be born 20 years earlier,
Oh, yeah.
fucking dangerous.
Yeah, if you were born 20 years earlier and you know what you know now. Like, that's the problem, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
But-
like Marty McFly.
Like, if I was drinking whiskey in 2002 and I would have known that Kentucky Legend was a thing, I would have bought every single donut I could possibly get my fingers on, right? And I would have just held on to them like a hoarding master, right? Like, you know what you know, right?
Yeah. So part of that is that I inherited whenever I moved out. My parents said, "Here, take this with me," and I have drank through one, and I have one pour left of a second bottle of Hiram Walker, a bottle and bond. Hold on here, and so I was literally going to say that if whenever my first parent passes, that I'm saving that.
There you go. As you should.
And so, also I have a bunch of
By the way, that's a
unopened-
liter, too, which I love.
Johnny, take the nose away from the top of it. You're putting like the ball of your nose in there.
And so I also have some antiques. You better fucking not do that.
I mean, it would fit. The sad thing is it might fit.
it would fit in the tube.
But that's one pour I'm saving for another time.
Do we think like marketing has played just a huge relevancy in like hyping up the industry to the point that it is now? Because like I wasn't alive at the time. Like I was born in '85, so like what was the marketing like for your bourbon and whiskey bottles back in the late 70s, 80s, 90s compared to what it is today?
Yeah.
And like how would that play kind of like a factor in where we are now?
Ooh.
No, I really honestly, and I think I said it earlier, but I think really just kind of our generation, me, Nick, Brian, Barbara, are the people that are kind of in that 40-ish range to like
54.
55, 60.
Fucker.
I'm not saying that you're old. I'm saying the entire gambit of.
But
like
it sounds
the
like it's
age
more
group.
inherited from you all. Like, you inherited kind of that from
My dad drank. My
parents.
My dad would only drink whiskey on special occasions, things like that. Right.
Sure.
My dad drank Miller Lite by the case.
Yeah.
Every 3 days, my dad would pound back a Miller Lite case. Like that was just when he got home from being a mechanic. That's what he did. Right.
Dude, my dad was a mechanic.
So, like in that case, like an Old Full 100 or a Maker's, just standard
would-
Maker's
it
would
would-
be like a special occasion.
That would have
bottle.
been yes.
The
exactly.
value of it has
but,
changed.
Yeah, but 101 right was just what was in the like. I think you're complex bourbon drinkers were in Japan. They were in other places, right? Like, and not to say that there weren't other people in America doing it, but they were just few and far between.
I also wonder though if back then if whiskey was to get shit faced,
Yeah.
and beer was just casual.
Oh yeah, I can tell you that 100% because I remember back in college, that was my first instance of running into a handle of early times that we had back on this podcast, where you have the white or off-white back label and black marking. You know, that old early times literally handle, whenever you could grab the handle of it and pour it. That was one of the things that I had during college. That, you know, we went to a buddy's room and yes, it was awesome.
Right. And that's part of it, right? Like it's just all this. Then became like iteration, I'll just say 0.5, right? We're going to go where you started, 0.5, and then where you're at today. 0.5 is the journey, right? Like when you look at bourbon and whiskey, a lot of it is just the journey, where you started and where you ended up. There's a lot of crazy things that I tried during that process, right? Like I went to the premium brands. I went from spending, $20 on a bottle to spending, $300, $400, $500 on a bottle of whiskey, right?
Or visiting a distillery,
Yeah,
and doing a distillery tour, then walking out paying $200-$300 on multiple bottles that you were able to sample or try.
Right.
correct. So I think the journey is just where like, and I know Brian's talked about this in the past a couple of times. Like he has a phase, and I think that's what really happens with a lot of people. You go through a phase. Like I went through my Starlight phase where like I was all about trying all the finishes that they released, whether it was sherry, whether it was Tokai, whether whatever it might have been. Right, like I went through that phase. Now I'm at the point where like I want to get back to the basics. Good, solid, quality whiskey that you can drink that is, not a whole lot of stuff done to it. I love a double oak.
More pure.
Yeah, more pure. And not to say that finishes aren't great, because they are. And I do think they have a place, and I think people should definitely be doing it and offering it. So it's the catch-22. So for that. But yeah, that's kind of the journey, I feel like.
Do you think we can get there though? Like, I mean, it does feel like things are changes in the wind, but like to get back to that point, what is it going to take? Because what I have noticed just in the 10 years that I've started drinking bourbon and whiskey more regularly is that the kind of rise of the secondary market. You see a lot of kind of the greed of people wanting to flip bottles for monetary value, where you have an influx. Like how many distilleries have come and gone in the last 10 years compared to like what had come from the last like 40 or 50 years. So like, is that something that can logically happen, or is it just going to come in phases? Like we didn't get to this point just from 0 to 100. We had kind of different decades of growth or change, and now we're at a peak where it's going to take decades more to kind of get back to that.
I don't know that we'll ever get back to the point where, I never went back and looked at the research of like how many distilleries were in the U.S. before Prohibition.
Yeah.
There were a metric fuck ton.
That was also whenever they're doing tub whiskey too.
Right. But there's nowhere near as many then as there are today.
Okay.
So that being said, we've well surpassed what was ever available at one point. But I think what's great about today versus what was great about stuff in 1919 is people have tried something outside of just pouring a glass of whiskey, right? Like we have double oak now. We have 1910. We have Mizunara cask. We have Oroloso sherry finished. We have port finished.
Innovation.
Innovation has created so much stuff. Like we did the Makers episode however many weeks ago or whatever it was. Like the fact that they came out with a second mash bill or a second offering after all these years is just crazy, right? That's innovation for them. So I think as innovation continues to happen, we're going to see more things, and I welcome that. I love that.
But do you think innovation gets you further away from your roots,
not necessarily.
or it depends on like how you use the innovation?
I think it depends. Yes, I think it depends on whether or not you're using it for good or for bad.
And I will say that innovation can also drive up price versus what you can get off of an everyday shelfer.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. But
Because the thing is that a barrel of some special finish could extremely adjust the cost. Let's say, whenever Abriana, early on, you could probably get it cheap. But as soon as that became a hook, for those cigar batches, the prices went through the roof.
As it was trendy to have a cigar
Correct.
batch
Yes.
bottle, and
The-
every fucking company had
those
one.
barrels were almost no expense at all. The only people that were using them were brewers.
Yeah. Right.
Somebody decided they were going to put whiskey in it, and then they exploded. Right? Like Nick's exactly right. Innovation is going to be, if anything, it will drive up the price of the market, even though it's actually cheaper to make whiskey probably today
Comparatively.
comparatively. It's insane when you really sit back at how much innovation has
But,
cost
like,
us over the years.
As bourbon snobs, like all of us at the table, like when was the last time we reached for just the basic set?
I'll go with this.
Go ahead.
So when Wild Turkey released their 101, their 8-year 101, again, last time it was released was 1994. I went for it. Old Granddad, 7-year. Put out there as a 7-year. I went after it. And now, like, Old Granddad's next evolution is their single barrel.
Yeah.
114 proofer.
Which a lot of people on YouTube have like said the Old Granddad is the bottle of the year for the price and the taste.
Well, yeah,
I mean, you could have made arguments for that on any year. I mean,
Sure.
Granddad 114 is what, $29.99?
oh, yeah.
Oh, I can get it. I
Here we-
can get it
Sam's.
at Walgreens at the corner up here,
Right.
for $25.99.
The old label or the new one?
The old,
Yeah,
the
the
traditional
OG
OG,
label. Just a regular
114.
114, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, but does this kind of go back to marketing?
Yeah.
And,
Well, so it's the expanding of it, right? And we've talked about this before too, right? Old Forester took the same shit they've been selling for years and then rebranded it as 1910. Now, granted, they did do some special stuff with 1910, but 1897 was just a different blend. 1870 was just a different blend of what they were doing, right? They changed the profile slightly, rebranded it, remarketed it, and started charging you twice as much to buy it and drink it.
is that evolution or is that marketing?
That's marketing.
But
That's
do you think,
that's rebranding.
do you think that's also evolution? I guess what the
Oh
world
well,
of whiskey
yeah.
is?
I guess technically that is an evolution of the process. It's just like what Buffalo Trace is doing, right?
So
Buffalo
four
Trace,
gra-
blah blah,
four
and then,
grain.
and then all of well, not even that. Benchmark. That name was dead. Like nobody knew what Benchmark was unless you drank Benchmark in 1987. It was dead. Nobody was making that shit no more. Then they just started putting younger Buffalo Trace in bottles and called it Benchmark.
But
And then
also
it flew.
but what they do with Benchmark now, they have 5 different expressions,
Right.
and they're all between $18 and maybe 25 at the most.
Right.
Top floor, single barrel.
Right. But they're all 3 years old.
Yeah,
Yeah, and, I mean, I think the evolution, at least for us, between Barbara and I, is we have gone back to buying some handles, of Maker's Mark, Buffalo Trace. We were able to find it at a local Kroger's, just on the shelf, ready to order.
Which is wild because during the lockdown, like you could not find Buffalo Trace
allocated.
allocated,
Yep.
and it was gone.
Even 2 years ago,
Yep.
you couldn't
Yeah.
find it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Sazerac Rye, E.H. Taylor small batch. They were all right. So there were secondary markets like for those what were considered baseline whiskeys, for a couple of years. Not like, but what I'm curious about is, so a lot of people have accumulated a lot more bottles going into March of 2020, and I know like the things that I hunt for, and I don't even hunt anymore. The things that I've been drawn to are so different than where they were 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So different. Like I went from Chase and 4 rows of single barrels. If they were plus 10 years, I drove to distillery. Michter's. In August of 2020, they started releasing. They would release their barrel strength and their 100 proofers together.
Yeah.
And I would chase those, and I go drive down there. I wait in line. I do this. I do that.
at what time was that cost? Because I know that the barrel strengths now I think have eclipsed almost $100 now for
75
the Four Roses.
Well, and what too, and this is a conversation for another episode, so I won't get into it very much, but how much of this is also like related to the influencer culture? Like the internet, YouTube, TikTok, whatever, it has allowed people to go in, they make videos about the bourbon and whiskey industry. They are provided the best bottles. They say, you got to get this. And so that spurns its own thing. But a lot of them are not, I wouldn't consider them true drinkers. And so like that's, I don't know. I feel like even the podcast that we're doing right now, like we all love bourbon and whiskey, but like what you see online, it's 50-50, and I don't feel like a lot of it's genuine in terms of like the appreciation for what it is you're actually drinking. It becomes more of a status symbol than it does this is a historical and the journey, as we've said before a couple times. I don't know.
Ooh, I like that because I think that there are two different groups of people that are watching all those videos, the people that are getting into it, that are interested, and then those, I guess, that are, I won't say the purist anymore. I don't know many that are purist, that just enjoy your straight up single barrel bourbon whiskey. I think that there's a lot of the in between that are going for like myself. 2024 is a year of French oak. 2025, I went after wheat whiskeys because it was different. Like I have so many of all the other stuff. And then I started chasing stuff that was more interesting to me.
Yeah. And I think that's where most people are. Most people, I feel like, in our industry, outside of being bottle chasers, I got to get an OWA, I got to get a Weller 12, I got to get a Pappy, I got to get this, I got to get BTEC, They're trying to find something that they really like and hone in and buy that and try different iterations of it, if that makes sense.
No, I can understand that. I mean, I'll give an example. I have a OFO 100 handle sitting on the table right now. And I'll say OFO 100 I can get for under $50. Mm-hmm. Handle, delicious. I can sit there and drink it and just enjoy it.
So is that you going around from chasing stuff for years, spending a shit ton of money, we'll say a Peerless and a number of the places, and now you're starting to appreciate the things that kind of got you into it?
Yes, absolutely. And them even being basic things. But the thing is that I think there is also a come around from, like, say, Buffalo Trace. I'll give that as just an example. Is they are actively trying to flood the market with.
They are doing. I love it because the amount of things that you see locally, and other areas won't see it, but that you see locally, where 4 grain, single barrel, foolproof.
They're not sitting on shelves.
I mean, they're not sitting on shelves, but the thing is that Buffalo Trace, just the standard Buffalo Trace, is starting to be on shelves,
right,
for an extended amount of time.
I will say that's the one quasi-positive from COVID is that now that distilleries can sell more of their stuff themselves, that you have a really good chance of walking into a distillery, especially Buffalo Trace in that situation, and picking up a unique bottle that you weren't able to do 3 or 4 years ago.
And there's no jail, or the
at
proverbial
retail
jail
price, you mean?
at retail.
At a quasi-retail.
Quasi-retail,
I mean, it's like
yeah.
$5 more than what you buy it if you bought it at retail and it was a regulated MSRP.
Non-secondary price.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's definitely one of the positives that came out of that process.
So can we, before we end the episode, can we just say, like, what do we think our preferred choice of entry? I'll say entry level because that doesn't sound right. But like, what would we, even based on the bottles on the table right now? What would ours?
I would just say
our choice be?
How about we go with what's a great everyday pour that you enjoy, no matter the price point. Because most people aren't going to be like, "Oh, my everyday pour is George T. Stagg," right? Like,
Right.
even though I have a bottle of it, I'm not drinking it every day, right? So,
Yeah.
let's.
Yeah.
Is that
what are
cool?
you drinking every day?
Yeah. If you could just open a bottle, and it didn't matter on price point, and it's just something that you continuously drink, what is that bottle? I think that's a good question.
May I add how that has changed? Because I'll tell you, because
yeah,
dude. Because if you go back 5 years ago,
well, that's changed too.
I know, dude. Nick, I'm sorry, dude, hey, but this is where I wanted to go with this. Dude,
right,
it's just how we've changed as individuals and the
Wait,
things that we truly.
What's the timer
enjoy.
at, Nick?
35 minutes.
36 minutes.
Yeah.
God damn, we're over already.
All right, I'll turn my shit off.
No, it's okay. No, No, but
Go ahead and evaluate. Go ahead. I mean,
But yeah, so the journey definitely changes, but also the journey changes as we get older because we got fucking more money than we did when we were
Right.
25 or
Speak for
30 or
yourself.
35, right?
Adult play money, yeah.
Right, yeah. I mean, so that's the big problem with me now, right? Like when I first started drinking bourbon, I didn't have the money I have right now.
You were
I don't
limited
have
to
the,
what you would
I didn't
spend
have the
on a bottle.
expendable income that I have right now. And I think that really is what drives the bourbon market more than anything else. And that's why COVID got so damn ridiculous because people got free money and it made things cost more because people were able to get money for other things.
I will say that it was
Fair
a
point.
driver for different distilleries to start then driving up prices.
Correct.
Because people were buying it. Things were flying off the shelves because of that money.
Right.
And now
Because we're all sitting around with nothing to do except drink, and so now we're going to want the good stuff because we have the time to sit and drink, and we have the money.
Well,
'cause
no,
got
we
some
don't have the
extra.
money anymore.
Not anymore. No, at
Right.
the time.
Yes.
And then we're still kind of living
But at the
with
time, it was
nothing.
also
Yeah.
cheaper.
So for somebody, I hear that if it's more expensive, it's better. Yet when I look at the table here, the things
Absolutely not.
Yeah, right. So is that the evolution of where we've started? Not started. Where when we're
Listen, some older
Ankles
stuff is
deep.
better,
Well,
but there's nothing wrong with solid quality everyday shelfers.
I think that the evolution is still having an appreciation for special single releases, special bottles, repeal day, things along those lines, family releases, from our local areas. But those can't be everyday drinkers because you would just be tearing through those and then, your money would be gone. But you want to be able to enjoy those for special occasions, for sharing, for giving to people and those things. But for everyday drinkers, there has to be an appreciation for then the economy size. I'm putting
Are you calling me economy size, Nick?
well, I can't.
a baker's dozen.
You commie.
But the reappreciation of being able to go grab a handle of OFO 100 and just be able to drink it, have about 2 or 3 pours of it and not have to worry about it. You don't feel guilty about paying a premium price for something special.
You're not so much in your head. You're just enjoying a pour.
Yes, you're
without
sitting back
having to calculate. Oh, this is going to be this much out of this bottle, and I don't know if I'm ever going to find it again, and whatever.
Exactly.
It just brings you to the present moment.
Yes, you're not fearing about opening it. You're not fearing about, the cost that went into it. It's just it's there.
So then, what is our bottles then? What we say is our go-to.
Finally, back to this question.
Back to
That's what I
question.
was getting ready to say.
I tried, Scott. Okay, I
I-
asked this
I was-
question
hey,
like 10 minutes ago.
I got
It's
you.
all right. I was trying to loop it back.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and listen, Brian's question was a very fair question.
It was.
Absolutely
It
100% was. It's just, it's all a process. All this is a process. Our opinions are going to change 3 years from now, 2 years from now.
Sure.
Maybe even 1 year from now. And it's all based on what's available,
Maybe even
what's going
tomorrow.
on, things like that.
Right,
So
exactly, Johnny. Maybe tomorrow.
If-
You never know.
if I was going to pick up an everyday shelfer, the 2 bottles that I can, and I mean everyday shelfer. I don't mean something that I have on my shelf because some of the stuff I have on my shelf that I drink every day are not everyday shelfers for most other people. If I'm Bill Stevens in Norman, Oklahoma, and I don't even know a guy named Bill Stevens that lives in Norman, Oklahoma. I just made that shit up off the top of my head. But if I was Bill Stevens in Norman, Oklahoma, you can go into your local liquor store and you can get a bottle of 1910 or Woodford Double Oak, and I would say that is a buy all day long. If you got a Sam's Club at $39.99,
Yes.
go get that son
Yes.
of a bitch and drink it and enjoy it because that's good whiskey. It's really hard to beat at that price point. Next.
Ooh, all right. So, that's an experienced palate, and all the things you have tasted that are that way. And
I think almost anybody that's drank any kind of whiskey, if they want to go get something that's not crazy expensive, that is a really good place to start.
so what I hear from this is that the people that don't have a whole bunch of bottles, you're listening to a group of individuals that have had bottles that are $200, $300, $400, $500.
Right.
We have such an appreciation for some of the bottles that are shelfers that are there every single day, in that not just totally meet your needs if you want to get a little buzz. They've got some complexity. They've got some history. They've got all sorts of good stuff with it.
Correct. What's your bottle? Do we have to
Oh,
come back
Lord.
to you?
No, that yes, please.
Okay. Nick.
You know, I would agree with you, Scott, because I'm a very high on the Woodford Double Oak and also the 1910s, but I will put a VI out there and for the OFO 100, where you can get it Meyer, you can get Kroger, you can get it in any of the normal places, a handle of it for under $50.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's good. Yeah. Buffalo Trace is, I'll give a mention to because it's becoming more of a shelfer than what it was.
What's a 750 of 100? $28.99?
Around there, yeah.
Around,
yeah.
28, 29.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then, as I said, honorable mention for Buffalo Trace. It's starting to come back to be a everyday shelfer from being scarce.
Yep. Barbara?
I am going to go with Bullet, either the bourbon or the rye. They're just both solid for me, easy to drink, just kind of chill, sit back, enjoy.
Johnny?
I'm a social drinker, and I would say of all the social drinking I've done, whether it be at a bar, whether it be at a party, whether it be at a club, Wild Turkey 101 never disappoints. I like the 2 for $10 specials that I get. I feel like that is something that you can not only drink neat, but you can also mix with, be it Coke or in a cocktail. To me, it is the most versatile bottle that is on the market.
All right, Brian.
All right, Wild Turkey 101 rye.
Okay.
In that, if
Dude, you have to fucking one-up me by going with the rye?
No.
Dick.
Well, I'm about to flip this switch one more time. But, so Wild Turkey, that's a great pick.
So the reason why it's the same price as the bourbon.
Is it really?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Same price, but
I think it might be $1 more. But go ahead.
But relatively same.
Yeah.
same price. Okay.
Reason being,
Insignificant.
it's different. As long as I've enjoyed whiskey, I still want things that aren't like normal every day.
That's fair.
Things that are different. Wild Turkey 101 rye.
So a little bit unique because it's still commonplace because it's Wild Turkey 101, but it's a little bit more unique. It's niche because it's a rye.
And I think that's an internal thing that I need to feel that way.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll go mentally.
Let's flip this one more time.
Yes.
Under $25.
Ooh.
Evan Williams Bottle and Bond. Boom.
Wait. White top or white label, white top?
Black label, white label. I don't care. They're both under.
No.
they're
Wait,
under
which
the
one
price.
is? Right. So Old Grandad 114.
That's that.
Even though I don't love that high core mash bill,
Right.
but it's so good.
Yeah.
I'd go for the Bottle and Bond. It's got a white top. I wish I knew what I know. Babs is like on this one. That's a $22 bottle that I love to pour with more expensive pours that are blind.
Yeah.
So that I'm going to turn my mic off.
Fucking early times, man. Like, love that shit. I think that's under 25.
It is.
Yeah.
Now, I would say I would agree with you if it was early
school.
times Brown
Old school.
Foreman. Not,
That's what I mean.
my
Thank
God.
you. Thank you. Yes.
All right. Hey.
Thank you.
Hey, our next episode, we will drink all 3 blind.
all right, Nick.
Are you just saying one under 30?
Under 25.
Oh my
Under
God.
25? I would say...
Fuck.
If you can consider the OGD 114, there are places where I've been able to get it under 25.
I'll take that. That's a good answer.
Because
Oh, it's a great, and it's a high proofer.
Wait, the what?
OGD 114. Oh, Granddad.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Because from the taste and everything, the complexity at that price point is just undeniable. And I will say that the 5 handles that I have sitting on the table, and I'll just review them real fast: Maker's Mark, Old Forester 100, Buffalo Trace, the Wild Turkey 101, and Bullet Bourbon, all are under $50 as a handle.
Yep. All of them are under 25 at 100 proof at a 750, I think, except for the Old Foe and the Buffalo Trace. All right, Brian.
Dude, damn it. All right. So, I don't know where Maker's Mark fits in there, but as far as approachable, full flavored,
Is
sweet,
Maker's Mark under 25?
yes. All right. I've
The
seen it.
regular Maker's Mark, yes. The the French Oak 46 is above.
Gotcha. Okay. I couldn't remember. I was thinking Maker's Mark Traditional was $28.99.
Give or take.
Yeah, or is somebody that loves to share. Whenever I want to buy something, I think of other people too.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. I think that's our episode of Bourbon Barrel Talk. If you want to find us, you can find us on Facebook, the Instagram, or the X. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. That way you get our episodes as soon as they drop on Sunday mornings at 6 a.m. This is Scott, Johnny, the Brocks, and Brian signing off from the Brock Bourbon Bar. Peace out.
Prost.
Long-winded.
Gotcha.
Toasty!